This. Hello. This. Hello. This. Okay, nice. Okay, let's get this going. Nope. Okay, hello. This is my first live stream. Of course, just figuring stuff out right now. What I want to do here is basically just create my stuff I usually do when I pursue my hobby, which is 3D art. I use Blender, and I've had experience for I think now about 2 or almost 2 years. I've been using it like almost every day. Sometimes had some breaks, but just yeah, almost 2 years. What I want to do on this channel is basically live stream my process of creating my art, and also interacting with people that maybe have the same passion or maybe even have a different passion, because I think I want to meet people, or I want to listen to people's passions, because I think that's one of the topics everybody can just speak with one another, and yeah, you can not only speak about it, but you can even inspire other people to maybe do it, or get inspired to do what their favorite hobby is. So the structure I came up with for this stream is basically at first to get the thumbnail for tomorrow, or not tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow I want to stream every weekday for around 2 to 3 hours, and then maybe even on weekends, but that's more irregular. Depends on whether I have time or not. Yeah, so what I want to do now is create my thumbnail for tomorrow. The thumbnail I have right now on YouTube, at least, is from yesterday, and what I want to do is create the thumbnail for tomorrow, which is I use a random number generator to go in here, and then go into my resources, and I have 3D scans. I have around 30 3D scans, and I'm gonna randomly pick a number, and the scan I get, I'm gonna use that to create a thumbnail for tomorrow, which I'm gonna do in roughly 30 minutes. So I'm gonna give myself 30 minutes to create something, and then give myself a little bit more time, about 10 minutes or less, to create to make the compositing, which means we can get started on that. I'm gonna pick out my random number, go on Google, there you go. Let's see, 30 max, and then let's go. 23. Yesterday I had 26. Let's see what 23 is. It is 30, 39, 38, 39. Playing card ace. Okay. Oh, nope. Extract here, and then let's see. It's a playing card, which is rigged. Okay. Extract here, and then we can import that into Blender, which I use for my 3D projects. We go to Paint, and then to this Blender Cloud, resources, 3D scans, and then where is it? The playing card Ace source. Oh no, wait, I went to the wrong thing. Appending is for grabbing objects like this sphere from a different Blender project. But what I want to use is the import with object. What I'm gonna do after I've done my thumbnail is I want to start creating my stream setup, my stream assets, which is why I have it in my title, which means wait, I'm in the wrong thing. Let's go to inspiration. Okay, I want to create my stream assets live on stream. Which is, I think, it's a good first project to do, because it shows how my process is, and also is the main theme of this stream, just showing how I create my creative projects and talk to people about their passions, about what they're interested in, and yeah, that's about it for now. I'll show you what my inspirations are for the stream theme overall when I'm done with this thumbnail. We go to 3D scans, we were here before, and then playing card Ace.
Ich hab dir noch ein Brötchen gekauft, ne?
Mhm.
Möchtest du da die Wurst drin haben?
Ich möchte nicht.
Auch kein Brötchen?
Nee, also das Brötchen schon.
Aber keine Wurst?
Ja. Okay, let's see what we have here. If you go to material preview, we can see the texture, which is the card. Okay, you can see it has two different sides, which is not optimal for a plane in Blender, because usually a plane is just a two-dimensional object. There is no you just have the x-axis and z-axis. You don't have the y-axis, which is the green one here, which you can also see in this little display right here, which is a problem for cards that are just two-dimensional, because you apply your texture on the face, which is which is basically just this plane. A face is basically made up of four vertices, which are these little points. 2 points or 2 vertices create an edge, and 4 vertices create a face. And every face can have a texture applied to it, which means because we only have one face, we gotta do a little trick here, which is here we can see how our texture is, or how our card is made, which is basically you have the texture right here. It's the card color JPEG, which is this one. And to get this side, we only have this one right now. We have to do a little trick, which is we can go in here, which this interface is basically where you can determine how the object you're applying this shader basically on, how this is getting affected by light, or how light affects this object. If I have, wait, let me switch my render engine. Okay, it's in a good spot. If I add a light, a point light, and I put it right over here, you can see it's lit up just a little bit. If you increase that to around 100, nope, 100, you can see it's even brighter. If you increase it even more, it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. If you put it to 500, it should be pretty good to show you what I mean. And now if I go to roughness, for example, you can decrease or increase how rough this object is, how the light is affected by this object. Right now it's at a 0.5. If you put it to 0, as you can see, it gets it deflects the light more and more, is right now it's just like a mirror, and if you put it to 1, it spreads it out just as far as it can, which means for a card we can probably leave it at like 0.5. I'll leave everything at 0.5 for now, and then I'm gonna set up what I meant for before with the little trick, because right now we only have the one side, but we need the other side as well, and because this one is just a 2-dimensional object and this is just one face, you only see you see the same texture on both sides, but there's a trick where you can say that this side has a different texture than this one, which is what I'm gonna do now. This little node we have to add is a back facing. No, it's not. Which one is it again? It's in oh, I think it's in geometry. It's back facing, that is. You can't see it because it's in the geometry node. So okay, what this thing does, this node, is if you plug it just in there in the color, the card right now gives it the color. If you remove that, it's just white. If you remove that as well, it's just white. If you plug in the color, the texture basically in the color node or in the color plug, you can see that it gets the color from the picture. If you now put in the back facing node, you can see that it wait, let me see. It basically acts like a determiner whether or not this one is the front side and this one is the back side, and then it can separate these two, so you can have two textures, one on this side and one on this side, which means I'm gonna use this, and just to see if it's working correctly, I'm gonna use a color mix RBG, put that in here. It probably just looks very complicated if you're not really into the whole thing. If there are any questions, I can probably explain them. If you put that to red, for example, and we put this to blue, and we see that this side is now blue and this one is red. I don't know why there are these weird artifacts that are blue as well, but I'm guessing that's just a display issue, which is why I'm going to ignore it for now. Okay, so if you plug this one in on this side, we can see that there's the front side, and then we use the same image again and put it in the other socket. What you see now is it's the same, because if you look in the little if you look at the picture, you can see that this one is more to the right of the JPEG image. Right now it's just picking up this frame basically, so what we have to do is push the texture to the right, which means we can map this texture. We can basically say we want to push it somewhere else or affect it in its location, which means if we now move the location, you can see that we push the texture to the left, and now we have the other side of the card. The one thing I want to see if is at the alpha. Nope. Okay. Well, we'll just work with what we got. I could. Oh wait, let me see if I can do that. If I add some more geometry, I can actually cut out the overlapping or the part of the image we don't need. I'm just gonna do that real quick, and then I'm actually gonna start the thumbnail process. Let's just remove that real quick, and then, oh, press the wrong button. Oh, I think I know what happens. Yep, I know why there's some flickering. It's because there were two planes basically right on top of each other, which is why you could see the one picture or one texture through the other. If we remove this, we only have one side and there's the other, and now it's not flickering anymore. If we test that again on this and remove the colors, wait, come on. Okay, you can see it's now just plain red and this one's plain blue, which is what we want. Okay, bug fix, nice. Okay, put this in there, and now we can remove the edges real quick, which we do that by oh, I think I know. Okay, we gotta flip this one. Oh no, we don't. We just leave it at that. Now we can... I don't know what is happening. That's the problem when you have just downloaded some free 3D assets and you want to use them for your project. You could probably first clean them up to have a better or smoother experience, which is probably what I'm gonna do. Maybe off stream, just to remove this part of the whole process. Now that we've added these borders, we can remove these faces. Remove them. We want to remove the faces, and we also want to remove these edges. And now we have the card. We can also, as you can see, there are these rounded, the cards have these rounded edges, which is what we're gonna do now. We gotta use two, no we can't, I think we can use all four. Now if we press Control B and then V for vertices, we can see that you can smooth out these edges, which I'm gonna do up until here. And now we have our card, which is what we wanted. Nice. Okay. Now the real fun begins. If we go back to Solid, I'm gonna set up my timer first on my phone. Maybe I'm gonna include a timer as an overlay, but for now I'm gonna do it just with my phone. Timer for 30 minutes. The exciting part about this is I have no idea, at least right now, what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna experiment for a bit and see what's gonna come out at the end. The first one I did as an experiment to see how it goes, and I had a tree bark I used, and which is what you saw as a thumbnail in the beginning. I think that was a pretty cool thumbnail. For the first time, at least, I did it, and there's definitely improvements to be made. Let's see how this one shapes out. Yeah, let's see. We start our timer in 3, 2, 1, go. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this card, gonna rotate it a little bit just to make it a little bit more dynamic, then add some more objects, like for example a plane, increase the size, and make it a little let's see, I think I'm gonna do a little card. Yeah, I think I have an idea what I'm gonna do. Put it down there. I'm gonna put this exactly on the ground. I'm just gonna do that real quick. Right there, exactly, and then put it on the ground. rotate it just a little bit. Right there. Put it, nope. Put that up there. And I think what I'm gonna do is my whole idea is I'm gonna change the back facing, or the, wait, let me switch that because I think that's the more interesting picture or part of the image. Put that up there. And now I'm gonna hold on, I'm gonna put that right there, and then put that right there, and then I'm gonna I'm gonna mix that shader, which is this one right there, with a emission. Emission is basically, it's glows. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix that with this one, put that right there, switch the, oh no, I gotta put the back facing right there, and this is what we have right now. So that's the whole idea. I'm gonna make it a bit more interesting. This one, the plane I'm gonna change, and I'm gonna make an interesting thing I just discovered yesterday is if you put an image right there, let's see what we have. Let's use the card. Let's see how that looks. If you put that in there, it uses the picture as a light. Okay, that looks a little bit boring. Let's see what we have. I have some pictures right here in my inspirations. Let's use something yellow. Yep, let's use this one. Put that in there. Nope, put that in here. And then plug that in there. Okay, we have just a little bit more action going with this one than the previous one. I'm gonna increase the emission to 4 maybe. Yeah, looks good. I'm also gonna give it some more saturation. That's looking good. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. And then what else? I think the hue can stay that way. We're gonna position our camera. I'm gonna put it around here. Okay, let's change that a little bit. Oh, we can also create another window. Put that right there. 3D viewport, and then we can just look in this window how it looks, so we don't have to it's just faster to work or to do it that way, because it doesn't use that much CPU because it's smaller. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Give it some more rotation maybe. Maybe even that way. Yeah, exactly. Zoom that in. Yep, that's looking good. And now we're gonna change the plane. We have 25 minutes left, which is pretty good. Feeling pretty confident. Create a new shader, which determines how the light interacts with this plane. And I'm gonna use a texture I downloaded just today, I mean. Go to Blender Cloud and then to Resources, Textures. The good thing is, which I'm going to show you in a second. Let me use not wood. Let's see what we have. Wood clean, bark rough, wood planks. This is what I want. 4K. Extract here. Nice. Wood planks. Okay, exactly. We have different different images, which look all look different and all have a specific purpose, which I'm going to show you now. First, I'm going to use the diffuse image texture. I mean, put it in there. Go to material. I'm going to switch that off just so I can work faster. Put that in there, and as you can see, we have wood. I'm gonna turn around or rotate that wood by 90 degrees and increase its size or scale. That's looking pretty good. Okay, now to make it a bit more interesting, then if you look at it, it's just plain and nothing, no real geometry or no real three-dimensionalism going on, which is solved by putting a displace modifier on it. A displace modifier basically uses a texture or an image to to displace the geometry of the object you put the modifier on. We gotta go back even more. Resources, textures. We were at wood planks, exactly. 4K. We're gonna use displacement. Disp stands for displacement. Put that in there. Of course we can't see any changes because we need to increase the geometry density basically, which is solved by using a subdivision what is it called, subdivision whatever. We increase that and then we put that above there. Nope, right over there, exactly. Now as you can see, nothing happens which is because let's see, strength middle, maybe the texture is not working right now. I think I need to increase the size, which is done by mapping. Or I could also, no, I'm gonna use a different technique. I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna use go in here, go to experimental, which gives us more options, more possibilities in the subdivision surface modifier, which is adaptive subdivision, which is maybe another topic for another day. Now I'm gonna leave that how it is. You see no difference, because we have to put the image of the displacement right on in there, and then we have this little displacement socket right there. What we can do right now is use the displacement node. We put the color in the height, and then we put the displacement in the displacement socket. Okay. Oh, I forgot something. We gotta use the same mapping we used here on this one, which still does nothing. I'm not sure why. Maybe we have to increase the subdivision even more, but doesn't look like it's even changing. Let's see what happens if we plug in another texture, which might just be enough. Which is the where is it? Diffuse normal map, exactly. We use that. This one is similar to the displacement map. What you do is you go to vector, you put in a normal map node, you plug that in right there. You plug the mapping in this node as well, and then you put that in the normal. What it does is basically it imitates the displacement. It just acts like the wood is not fully flat, and makes it more realistic, which is probably not really visible right now, but we're still working on this, and maybe if it's not really visible in this project, I'm gonna probably show it a different time. just to visualize for everyone what it actually does. The roughness is for, of course, the roughness socket. We put that in there, and the roughness changes. Of course, we can't really see how the texture or the plane changes because you don't really have a light source except for the card, which makes it a little bit harder to see what's actually going on. If we increase that and we see and look at the normal map, as you can see right now it's with, oh, I forgot something. Did I? Yep, I forgot to plug that in there. Now, okay, if you look at the normal map, I disabled it. You can see it's looking pretty flat. If you activate it, you can see it changed just slightly, which is probably because the texture isn't really, or the texture I use with these planes are pretty even and flat, and don't really have that much displacement. They're really pretty clean and even, which makes it hard to show off the displacement and the normal map. We also have a roughness AO. Do we really need that? I don't think so. What I really want to try to figure out is why this is not working. Oh, I know why. It's because you have to enable displacement in the shader menu. Displacement and bump, displacement only. Let's say displacement and bump. Now we can see it changed just a little bit. Let's see if we can increase that. Nope, not the scale. Oh yeah, we want to put that, no? Put that to 0. Oh no, we want to put it to, we're just gonna leave that just where it was before. Come on man, then don't lag out on me. Okay, nice. Scale, let's see if that actually changes something now. Oh, as you can see, it actually displaces now, which is nice, which is exactly what we want to have. I'm going to subdivide that even more, which is I'm going to add more vertices, which increases the amount of displacement that can happen. That's looking pretty nice. And then I'm gonna put the strength down again, or the scale rather. Put that to 1. Let's see how that looks. You can see how that. Let's see if you can see the, what is it? The bump normal map. Okay, no, you can't. Okay, never mind. Let's put that to probably like a 4. Still not really changing that much, which is probably because we plugged that in there. Object space, world space. Nope. Okay. We'll leave it how it is now. We can also just add some more displacement ourselves if we just add this one right there, and we can just move that down a bit, which gives us this little crease, which is what I'm gonna do right here as well. Right there, put that closer. You extrude that down just a little bit, and as you can see we have some depth, which is what I wanted. We can also go in here, do the same thing right there, but make that even slimmer. Nice. And then go down. Okay, this is looking better now. Okay, but we want to do it a little bit, we want to make it more dramatic than it is now. If you go into the rendered view of the camera, we can see that it's also going over the frame of the camera. What I also want to do is enable the pass-through, which is also enabled, but we can increase it more so you can only see what the camera sees. And now let's see if the array modifier fixes what I want to fix. Put that to 0. Put it, oh, that's a lot. Put that to 1. Is that, yep. Okay, we need a little bit less. That should do it. This looks pretty good. I'm gonna switch up, rotate that a little bit, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Move that, go up. Nice. Okay, I want to increase the emission even more, just to make it even more, make it pop even more, make it to 10 maybe, or I think we can leave it at 10, move that down a little bit. Okay, nice. Now, looking pretty good so far. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to, let's see, 12 minutes left. I'm gonna enable, no, that's not what I'm gonna do. Let's see, we can probably go even further in. That's looking pretty good. Now we wanna implement some lights, because you can't really see the front of the card, which is what I wanna highlight some more. I'm gonna use a light, maybe a spotlight. Put that right there, just for now. Cast shadow, exactly, show cone. So now you can see how the light is casting onto the objects by this little cone. And what I'm gonna do is move it right here, maybe. Now that's looking good. Rotate it that it's facing at the card. Maybe even put it right there. Yup. Rotate that. That's looking pretty good. And then we want to decrease the size. Also, it doesn't matter how far it goes. It's still going to the card. It's just displayed like that. If you change the blend, it's softer. If you put the blend to 0, increase the light power to probably like 400 maybe. It's sharp edges at the edges of the light. So what I'm gonna do is increase the blend just so it is smoothing out the edges. And what I'm gonna do is oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use an empty, which is just an object that doesn't have a physical body, and I'm gonna tell this camera that it's supposed to track this empty. What this is gonna do is the light is gonna follow this empty, as you can see right in the render tab right here. You can see it's just following this one, the empty. So what I'm gonna do is maybe even put it right here. And then I'm gonna increase the size just a little bit, just to highlight the ace in the middle. Increase the power, maybe to double that, even more. That's looking pretty good. Maybe we can decrease the size. Put the blend to the max. Okay. We can just disable all outlines so we can only see the render. And then maybe I'll rotate the camera a bit to see what the best spot is.
I don't know what y'all think, but I think that's pretty.
Yeah, I think that looks better than 4. Maybe we can put it more to the top, or let's see. What if you put it right here? No, that looks worse. I'm gonna put it right there. Nice. Just so we have this little line of emitted from the light. Okay. To make it more cinematic, you can the easiest thing you can add is just depth of field, which is right here. And what you can also do is wait, let me disable that real quick, and then we can change the focal length. To make it more dynamic, we can decrease the focal length, which stretches the image, which is what I did in the first thumbnail that you see for this stream. Now we go closer.
You guys are so good at that.
You can see it's just stretched, more than 4, which is what I want. Put that right there. 7 minutes left. And what I'm gonna do is put a little depth of field in there, which I'm gonna where is it? Right here, limits. This is the focus point, the point where there's no blur, and I'm gonna put that. I think I'm gonna. The focus object is gonna be the empty. This way. Let me see where the empty is. Okay, I want to put it right on the heart. Right there, nice. Okay, now the focus is on the heart, and also the light just shines right onto the heart. Now, I'm gonna increase the depth of field, which makes the outside, or how the further away it is, the more blurry it gets. Put that to maybe 1, just to make it a little bit more extreme. Maybe even more, because it's such a low focal length. We need more depth of field, maybe 0.5. How's that looking? We can even put even more in there. Let's do divided by 2. That's looking pretty good. Okay. Now, what I want to do is change this color of this light, just to make it a bit more inviting. Maybe to a bright blue or a light blue, just so it's in contrast to the light that's coming from the bottom. Saturation, do we need more saturation? No, we don't. Put that right there. Power, maybe increase it even more. Put it to 2000. That looks pretty good. Okay, I think I have 4 minutes left. Do you want to do something else? I think that's looking pretty good so far. We can probably go over to the compositor, or do you want to add something else? Let's see. Is there anything I can add that's just making it a bit more interesting? I think that's it. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna render it real quick. and then we can do our compositing. Shouldn't take too long if we put the settings down a little bit. Put that to half, 50% of the original resolution, which is 1920, and we're gonna sampling, which is how often or how detailed the lights and the light bounce is gonna be calculated. Nice. Now we're gonna go in here, delete this, leave it how it is, and we're gonna save it real quick so we don't lose our progress. We're gonna make a new folder, which is Quick Sketch 2. Put that in there. Quick Sketch 2. Save as blend project, and I'm gonna pause and also cancel my countdown because now I'm gonna just do the compositing because I'm done with my image. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna render it real quick, which shouldn't take too long. As you can see, we're almost done. Okay, we're done. Nice. I forgot something. I had 4 minutes left. Okay, let me do that real quick. Let's see if I can actually do what I wanted. No, we have 3 minutes 15 left. Okay, 3 minutes 15. Let's do it. Because if we go into our shader, we can maybe... What is this for? I didn't remember. Let's just remove that. 4K. No, we don't need that. We need our... Oh. Let's go into the resources, 3D scans, and then where's the card? There it is. Textures. Internal ground AO. I don't need that. Card transparency. Oh, that's what we need. We need that for... Okay, we don't need it anymore. We could use that instead of cutting out the edges to make the texture only appear where the card actually is. Okay, what is this? Nope, we don't need that. Okay, there's no bump texture for this image, so we can't really... we could maybe make one. Let's see if that works. If we go in here, and this is what it looks like, the color without any physical properties or light bouncing off of it. If we now go into here, put in a color ramp, you can see there's only the colors, and what the colors for the bump map mean is black means the image goes down and white means the image goes up, which means if we put it right here maybe, and yeah, that's looking good, and put that to 0.5, which is the middle of the card. The bump map is going to treat the 0.5 as the original position of the card, and if we include a bump map, plug that in there, plug that in the normal, we can see it displaces. As you can see, there are these rigid, or these it's getting rough three-dimensionally. You can see all these bumps and all that, which is what the bump map does. We just cheated as one because there was none. And now if we go into our render panel or render view, we can see it's just more three-dimensional and just looks better. Nice. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Distance can stay like that. Maybe put the strength to 0.5. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Nice. 19 seconds left. I'm gonna pause that. Nice. Okay, now we're gonna go over to the compositor. I'm gonna render out the picture real quick just to have the bump map in there as well. Save it real quick so nothing's crashing and we're losing our progress. render it out real quick. Checking if everything's still right. Nice, looking pretty good. And there it is. We have our image. Our new thumbnail for tomorrow. Nice. Now we're gonna use this compositor window to make it a bit more interesting. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. If we go to the render result, we can see our image. And if we include an output viewer, plug that in there. Wait, I'm gonna combine them. Nice. This way we don't have to push this stuff around so much. Nice. Move that over here. And now we're gonna do some compositing, which I think I have to render it again because I want to use a different output file. I'm not going to use PNG, I'm going to use OpenEXR. OpenEXR is basically an alternative to PNG and JPEG, which oh, I could have used a bump map for this wood as well, so you can get these structures on the wood as well. Well, we didn't have time, so we don't care. We're gonna go in here, and then we can see our viewer. And OpenEXR is basically PNG but stronger. It saves more of the image. It has more dynamic range, which means if you have a light which is casting light onto a plane, and you put it super high, like I don't know, 10,000 or so, the white in the image is gonna cap out earlier in the PNG than in the EXR. What I mean is, as you can see right here, you have these gradients going from almost no light to full emission from the card onto the wood. And if you use an EXR, you can it saves more of this gradient. If you increase the emission right here to like an insane amount, you can see that this yellow is getting solid maybe up until here, and then the gradient starts. But with EXR you have a gradient from here to all the way up here. It's probably not going to change that much in this image, but it just gives me more freedom to work with the image I have. And yeah, I'm just gonna use this file format. What I'm gonna do is, I forgot to include something as well, which is in color management. I want to use a medium high contrast look. It just makes it a bit more dynamic. Let's render that out real quick. Save before we do that. Render image. And we have our medium high contrast look. Now we can do our compositing. We could probably just decrease the sound of this music real quick. Let's go in here, change that a bit lower, 18% maybe, 15, 30% looks good. Okay, now compositing, we're gonna start with, oh, I forgot something again, which is the denoising pass, which I'm gonna show you what it does in just a second. We're gonna not save, we're gonna do something risky. Render that out real quick, and as you can see, it's still noisy. You saw when it rendered, these squares started from being very noisy to getting more and more denoise basically, but there's still noise in here. The noise comes from how many light paths, or how do you explain it? We determined the samples in this window right here, and the higher the samples, the less noise we'll have in this image. But because we want to work quick, we use a lower sample amount, and to remove this denoising, this noise, we can use a filter, denoise filter. We're gonna plug that image in here and plug that in there. What that does is basically it removes all the noise that was in there. It's, I think, an AI based denoising filter, which works really good. We plug the denoising normal and denoising albedo in there to have more, to just make it more efficient and make it look even better. And then how this basically works, I haven't explained that before, is for all these, for the shader and also the compositor, you have these node trees. Every one of these blocks is a node. This is a denoise node, this is a render layer node, and every node has a specific purpose. If you go in here, the render layer node basically shows you the rendered image and also all the passes you've added onto the render. Basically, you have an image pass which shows you the color, or basically the image. You have an alpha, which means if you don't include in background like we have in this image with the plank, you can make it transparent, which is probably which is the alpha socket right here, and you have some more. All we use are the image and the denoising sockets, and which we're gonna plug into the denoise node. The denoise node, as it just is called, it denoises the image, which means if we plug in the image into the image, if you remove that, you can see there's no image anymore. If you put that in again, you can see the image comes back, and it's also getting denoised. Just to show you what I mean with denoising again. Right now, it's, as you can see, there's this frizzly, this art, maybe not artifact, but there's just noise everywhere. And if we plug that image, that noisy image, into the denoiser and plug that into the viewer, you can see there's no noise anymore. And now, if we we're coming to these two nodes, the viewer node basically acts as a it basically enables that this image right here, which is the render result, gets updated by all the changes we make in here. And the composite node basically adds all the compositing we do in here into the next render we do. So if we just do another render, what we can do, or I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to tell you, if we would render this image again, we would get this one out with no noise, because it includes everything we do in here into the next render. So it's basically like a tree. The root is in this window on our left, and it goes from left to right, basically like a timeline. At first you get the original image, you denoise it, and then you get the end product right here. So what I'm gonna include is, let's see, I'm probably gonna use my favorite filter, which is the glare filter, which is gonna, or maybe it won't work in this image that good. I think it's not really necessary for this one. The glare filter basically puts a little, let's see if fog glow works. Okay, now, if you have a direct light source in the image, it basically puts little glow around it. Because if you render it just straight out of this without compositing, you have no glow around it. So what you can do is add this fog glow filter to add glow around the light, which gives it just more, just makes it look better in general. So what we're gonna do is let's see, we probably gonna include I think we don't need a filter. We're gonna change our colors a little bit. Contrast, put that in there. As you can see, nothing changes because the values are still at 0. If you increase that to 1, it's getting brighter, but we don't want that. We leave that at 1. I want to use the contrast. I'm gonna maybe put that at 1. Let's see how that looks. That just gives it a bit more dynamic, or yeah, it makes it more dynamic. Let's see, even more color changes. I think that's looking pretty good so far. Do we even need to change anything? I think, oh yeah, I want to include the same filter, where is it? It's a distortion, a lens distortion to this image. I also included in the first image I did for my first thumbnail for this stream. What it does is basically it gives it a fisheye lens effect. If I put that up to, I don't know, to maybe 1, you could see it's really distorted now. I'm gonna put that to fit and decrease that. Maybe what does -1 look? Oh, okay. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I'm gonna just put it to probably like a 0.25. Let's see how that looks. Oh, that's still too much. Let's put it to let's see, 0.1, or oh, last time I didn't use a distortion. Let's see what a -0.1 looks like. Okay, now let's just remove that and just use dispersion. The dispersion makes it more interesting, the whole image. By let's just show you what it does. This, exactly. That's the dispersion. It basically separates the different channels R, G, and B, and stretches them out individually. Put that to probably 0.25. I put it pretty high on the first thumbnail, but I don't think I'm gonna need to put it that high in this one. Maybe 0.1, just a little bit. I don't want to make it too extreme. I think that's looking pretty good, and I think that's it for the thumbnail. That's looking pretty good. Yeah, I think that's it. Of course, we don't need a 1:1 image for the thumbnail, but this one's going to Instagram. Now, if I render this, as we know, if we look at the image before, let's make a new path, just so we have 2 options right here. This is the original image. If we now plug that in here, you can see the original image, which is noisy and just not as colorful and dynamic. And now if we put that in there, you can see looking way better. Okay, let's save that and then render our image first for Instagram, and then as you can see, first it just renders the image, and then afterwards it puts in the compositing. We're gonna save that right into Sketch, no, not as EXR. Let's save that as PNG. I don't need an EXR for Instagram or YouTube. Quick Sketch 2, nice. Nice, okay, that's looking pretty good. Now we need a YouTube thumbnail resolution, which is 1920 by 1080. Oh, we gotta switch that back to the camera. Oh, do you want to cut it? It looks pretty good, but I think I want to actually have more of the camera visible. I think that's pretty cool. Yep, I'm gonna leave it right like this. I'm not gonna save it, just gonna render the image, which is gonna probably take just a little bit longer. Oh, I forgot something. I gotta increase the... Oh wait, I gotta... Yep, put that to 100%. I thought about doing that for the 1920 by 1920 image as well, but I don't think it's gonna really affect the Instagram display. Like it will look worse in the Instagram feed. Gotta save that, and that looks actually pretty good. It looks pretty cool. And as I said before, I haven't expected to get that out of it. I have expected nothing, and I think that looks pretty cool. Quick sketch to PNG. Oh, I forgot to put in 1920 by... What is it? 1920 by 1080. Save as image. And there we have our thumbnail for tomorrow. Nice. Okay, save that. Save it. And now we're working on our more long-term project, which is gonna be... Let me open it up. It's gonna be the scene switch 1. This was my first attempt at doing what I had in mind. It's what I want to do first is probably what I want to do first, maybe not even a scene switch, but rather a standby or a static or still a video image, but I want to replace the starting soon and be right back screens with something more interesting. This I just created in, I don't know, 2 minutes. So I want to make something actually like with quality, put that in there. I'm gonna go back to display, hello, and I'm gonna start by deleting everything that there's in here. We don't need all that. Why is this thing not clickable? Because it's not there anymore. I don't know why it is still displayed. Oh, okay, okay. That's just the little indication. The red and white is combined with this little cross, and I thought it was just an empty that you can add. It just looks almost the same. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm gonna probably make a new project, because don't save, because I want to make a new project and put that in a new folder, just so we still have our scene switch project. Gonna save that, not in there, make a new one. Static screen, nice. Static screen 1, that's nice. Static screen 1. Okay, version 1A. That's just how I structure my files. Let me check real quick. Okay, I had the fear that my voice or my microphone wasn't on, but it is on. So my inspiration, let me see, I don't need the textures anymore. My inspiration was projects. I'm gonna scene switch, use these references, put them, nope, not in here, in static screen. My references were from Destiny 2. They have this crazy looking floral, colorful imagery on one of their zones. and I want to not replicate them, but make a similar aesthetic to this one. So this I'm going to use as a reference. I have a pretty neat program I use for my references to have them always on me. Make a new scene, which is this one. You can just put that over every window. It stays over every window, and you can just throw all your references in there, and you have them all as a collection right there. So the main images I'm going to focus on is definitely this one. Also this one. I'm going to increase them in size just to make them more prominent. And also this one. Nice. Okay, put that right there. I don't need that much, but there's still graphics that I might use. So I'm gonna put that probably right there. I think that's the best spot for them, so you can see them as well, right? Yep, you can see them. And now let's start. The main theme I took out of these is very colorful, very high contrast, with a static or plain background, and also shapes that looks like flowers, but they're not really actual flowers. They may be leaves, but they're not no flowers. If you especially look at those, you don't see really a flower, but more like I don't know, leaves and all that, which looks like flower. So that's what I want to replicate and make that animated. So what I'm probably gonna use for a static image for this scene, oh nice, it's just above for this scene, and this scene is this bottom part right here. I'm gonna put that as some as borders at the top and at the bottom of the screen, and then put the text in the middle. Okay, so first what I'm gonna start with are just some leaves to have some assets to work with, and yeah, let's start. I want to talk some more about my idea behind this stream and this channel. I also have a videos channel. It's just called Noggy, not Noggy Now, which is the live channel. I also have a Noggy, where I'm gonna upload some videos or snippets of the stream, where I'm probably just gonna include stuff like where I explain stuff like the note tree, or also maybe my process behind some of these projects. Yeah, I'm gonna see what interesting stuff comes up in this stream. Okay, first we need some leaves. Gonna start out with a plane, and I guess the easiest thing to get organic leaves would be to go to Google, go in here, and then let's see, we use leaves alpha. Nice, that's exactly what I wanted. Pictures. What I'm looking for are just leaves without any background, which I can use in my project. I'm gonna put that in there. Oh, it's pretty small though. I'm gonna save it anyway. Let's open it in a new tab. Save it. In my project, right here in my static screen, right there. I'm gonna use textures, or assets rather. Okay, textures, Okay, put that in there and then save some more. So what I want to do on this channel is, as I've said before, I just want to, I'm interested in not only telling why what my passions are, and what I want to do in the future, or what I'm passionate about right now. I also want to just hear other folks talk about their passions, because I think that's not just interesting for them, also interesting for others to hear, because they may think, oh, maybe I'll check out what he does, and maybe they find a new hobby to pursue, and maybe they could even connect with the person they heard that from and talk about it. Yeah, I'm interested in different points of views, different interests, and I want to know more about just the world. I want to. I think there are no real bad opinions, or bad. What do you want to call it? Bad. If someone tells you, yo, I like knitting, some people probably say like, oh, knitting, that sounds so boring. But I think if you talk with that person about knitting and maybe why they do it, why they love it so much, people might look at it in a different way and actually see why the people actually pursue that hobby. So yeah, I just want to connect with people and know what they're about, and just get some more perspective. I talked with a co-worker of me just last week, or this week actually, about what their hobbies are, and it was actually pretty interesting, because they said they're really passionate and interested in wedding dresses. So since I don't know, they were 12 or so, they are really interested in wedding dresses. What that means is they said like they like to see the designs and all the shapes and all the sizes and all that, and see how that works together with the overall wedding they're implemented in. And I think that was a pretty interesting passion or hobby to pursue, because I would have never thought that somebody would be so interested in, or I would have never thought about someone being that interested in wedding dresses. But yeah, just interesting to hear what other people are interested in. And that's basically what I want to do here. I want to just show people what do you want to call it? I want to increase their horizon, basically. Just make it more broad, and show them just how other people are wired, and yeah, I think that's the main topic. Just give inspiration to people, not just by what I do on stream, but also by what other people are doing. Let's save that as well. And I think we have a pretty good collection of textures or images. So they all have this what do you call it? Chessboard texture or pattern behind it as a background, which basically shows you that it is transparent. If there's this checker pattern behind it, that's usually indicating that it's transparent. So everything except for this leaf is basically not there. So I'm gonna show you what I mean in more detail if we go in here. Now we can go in here and we can actually open our images right in here. Image as planes. Now if we go into assets, we can use some of the images we just downloaded. Let's see which is interesting for now. Let's use this one, image as plane. And now if we go into material, we can see that there is still the background is still in there. That's because the alpha is actually not in here. The alpha basically is determines the transparency. What I mean is, if we go in here, remove that, and then get our little geometry node back, and then put that in back facing alpha. What that does is, actually this one is flipped. Let's flip this one. Nice. Now this is the front. You can see the image from the front, but if you go to the back facing side, you can see it is transparent. The alpha actually works. So if this image actually had an alpha, it would remove all the checker pattern. So we would only have the leaf. But what we can also do is just go in here and use our little knife to just cut it how we want it. What I'm gonna do is lower this real quick, and then I'm gonna cut it into shape just to have a base to work with. Maybe even do it a little bit rougher just so we get started faster. We don't have to be too detailed. I just want to use this as a shape. I don't want to actually use the texture. I just want to get the shape right. And nature gives you the best reference to getting an actual leaf shape. So I'm gonna finish this real quick. And then we're gonna move on to our next step. So, as I said before, I want to talk about not only other people's interests, but also mine. As you can see, this one's one of my biggest interests. It's basically 3D motion design and motion design overall. At work, I'm a graphic designer. I do 2D stuff or print stuff as well, but I'm mainly the most fun and the most skill I have is in 3D and motion design, so animations, info, tutorials or something, and stuff like animated GIFs and all that, which is what I did. Now we're almost done. Nice. Now we have this shape. We can remove the faces we don't need. Remove that. Remove all the faces, and now we have our leaf. Nice. I think we don't need the image anymore, so we can just remove this shader, rename it leaf 1. Remove the shader, geometry, we don't need it. Now we have this leaf shape, and I think I'm gonna use some more smooth leaves to get a little bit. I want to make this a soft image, because if you go to this screen, where is it? Starting soon, for example, it's pretty static and pretty I want to make it calming and just relaxing to look at, not some crazy image that's flickering all over the display. So what I want to do is put in another leaf. Let's see what we got. Nope, nope. We use an image as plane, assets, textures. I'm gonna use this one. Looks pretty good. Tropic leaf looks pretty good. Rotate that, or do we even have to? Yeah, rotate that by 90 degrees. Okay. We gotta cut it out as well. Shouldn't take too long. With this one, it's pretty small. I mean, not as complex as the other one. Get these round shapes in there, and then yeah, if you wanna look at my video channel, I'll probably upload something from this stream up there, maybe the explanation of what I'm gonna do on this stream and in the video on the video channel. If that interests you and you wanna see maybe some stuff you haven't seen live, you can go in there. Okay, we have this leaf shape now, which is pretty good. But what I want to do is I want to make it less plain. What I mean by that is first I'm gonna actually, let's see, show me all the vertices. You can see them here. What I'm gonna do is make them into quads, which just helps me structure. Wait, I'm gonna use the knife tool. If you make everything into quads, basically you can either have faces that have four edges, or you can have faces that have 3 edges. So if you go in here and combine these 2 vertices, put a knife cut in there, you have no, we actually don't. You need to put it right there. Now we have a face with 3 edges, but what that does is it has some complication with deforming and increasing the geometry of this object even more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make these. Right now it's just a single face with a lot of vertices, but I'm gonna cut this big face into smaller ones, which are quads, just to make the deformation more easier. I'm gonna remove this edge. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Dissolve the edge to keep the image. Gonna do that real quick. And okay, yeah. As I said before, I've been working with Blender for the past 2 years roughly, and I did it, or I looked into it before, but I started with a complex tutorial right away. But Blender is a program that's not really it's not really suited to just jump in and do what's fun. You have to actually learn how to use the basics, or how to use the basics to actually do something. So you can't just go in here. Yeah, I'm gonna move this thing right here. Actually, this doesn't even work. You can't just move something with your mouse. You have to actually press G, select it, and then press G to move something. It could be M, but it's G. So it's just you have to just learn the basics first before you can work with Blender, which put me off at first. And then when I revisited it at some point, I did an actual beginner tutorial, which I can't really find anymore. I didn't do the ones that probably a lot of people did, the donut tutorial from Blender Guru. I did a different one, but I can't find it anymore. I was looking for it just a while back. Okay, so we now have our leaf, and I think the first thing I'm gonna do is now if you want to add more geometry, we can just put a little slice down here, which just slices right through all these faces and gives us more vertices to work with. So if you, for example, want to use this little stem, I'll call it. If you want to lower that, for example, you can put that in there. You can position it over the actual part of the texture where the stem actually is, or you just use that and then move that down, and as you can see, it has more geometry. Of course, it's still very plain because we still need more geometry to actually displace it more dynamically, more organically. But I think I'm gonna actually move them to the little middle part, just so we stay close to the reference. Yeah, I'm gonna do this thumbnail speed run basically every start of the stream. Every will probably take an hour or so to create the whole thumbnail, and then I'm gonna go over to my bigger projects. Okay, what I wanted to do is get this little these deformations, these round shapes. Right now it's just plain on the y-axis, and what I want to do is I'm gonna put 2 more slices right there, and now I'm gonna implement a subdivision surface modifier. What that does is it gives it even more geometry. So if you go into wireframe, you can see all the vertices and edges and faces. And now if you go into if you apply that modifier, you can see it it gives you more geometry to work with. The good thing with modifiers is it's non-destructive, which means it still affects the object, but it's not applying it directly onto it. So if you still want to make changes, like increasing, so if you apply it again, you can see we have this much geometry. But if you increase the level of subdivision, you can actually see in this one as well, in the wireframe view, that it increases the amount of geometry it adds. So if you put it to, I think 2 is enough. We could just go in here and use or push these this part of the leaf down. I'm going to show you how that would look. Go in here, put this cursor on the selection, which are these edges I selected, and then put that to a 3D cursor. So everything I do is centered on this little cursor, which means if I use these edges or select them, go into the flat view from this side and rotate it, or we have to include this one as well. Proximity, what is it called? Proportional editing is basically proximity editing, what I would call it. Everything in the selection's proximity is also affected, and how it is affected you can determine in this interface. Right now, if it's smooth, it works like that with this little bow in there. It goes down, and then gets flat again. But what we want to use is sharp. If we would do it like that, we could just do it like that and have this little bow in there. But that's not what I want to do. I want to make it non-destructive, just like the subdivision modifier. What I mean is, we go in here and use the same thing we did for our thumbnail, the displace modifier. Add a new texture, and then we can go into our, we put that right in there. We go into our texture interface. Here we can select, what I want to do is use a wood texture, which makes it look very interesting. What the displace modifier basically does is, if you it looks at the texture you apply to it and says, okay, black is the geometry where the texture actually is. This black is right here. The displacement modifier displaces the vertices that are in this area. It pushes it down, and white means it pushes the vertices up, which means if I go in here and for example switch it to saw, you can see we have these steps, or ramps rather, but what we want to use is sine, because we want to have this soft wave, but we have too many waves on this little leaf, which is what we want to change. I don't know why it won't. Let me change it. Let me play around for a bit. Okay. Band noise. Now I want to just use bands. Okay. Let's see if this changes anything. If not, I probably have to use bands noise. Nope, not ring noise. As you can see, there's this ring right here, and you can see this ring in the middle right there. So the middle is this black, which you can see right there. The white in the middle is this little tip right there, and then it goes to white again, so it goes up. I want to remove the turbulence. I don't need turbulence. I also need band noise. Turbulence is gone, nice. Increase the size is what I want to do, which doesn't work. Nice. Nope. Okay, of course when you're working with a program as big as Blender, with so many different possibilities of what you can do with it, you're most likely going to run into some roadblocks which you can figure out. I think I'm just gonna not bother with it right now, and I'm just gonna remove this displacement modifier, and to make it to keep this original, I'm gonna duplicate it and make different variations on multiple copies of this. So what I'm gonna do first is apply the subdivision, or no, I'm not gonna do that. What I want to do is do the same I did right there, which is go in there, put the cursor right to the selected area, select that, go in here and rotate it just to give it a bit more or no, I'm gonna do something else first, because I want to have this crease in the middle that you can see right here on the texture. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this edge up to here, up to there, and I'm gonna, nope, yeah, I'm gonna do that, pull that down, proportional editing off, and as you can see it just creases a little bit, but what I want to do is make it a little bit sharper. Wait, can you actually, is it rounded off? Yeah, it is. Okay. What I want to do is make it a little bit sharper. So I'm going to introduce another edge. What that does is, if we go into solid mode, you can see it's very smooth, but we have this little crease in here. What I want to do is put that a little bit lower, so the crease gets up to the tip. And now actually I'm gonna put those up here, and this is looking pretty good. What I want to do as well is lower the edge of the leaf as well. So I'm gonna use this right up to there, include that as well. Nice. I'm gonna lower it so we can have this nice leaf shape, which looks pretty cool. I'm gonna switch this a little bit. This looks pretty weird right now. Push that back a little bit. Push that back. Okay, that looks better. Now we have our leaf shape for the first one. I'm gonna rotate it down later, but I wanna duplicate this one just to have some more copies and make some more variations. Okay. I'm gonna not rename it right now. Okay, or let's do that. Leaf 1 base, and then I'm gonna rename those leaf 1. What do you want to call it? Leaf 1 1. No wait, Blender does it by 0.001. Exactly. So if you copy that, remove this part. Nope, we have to include this part. It puts it at 2. Now we have 4 leaves nicely sorted. Okay, so I'm gonna hide these for now, this one as well, and I'm gonna work on this one. Let me see. I'll probably pick, if somebody's interested in what I'm actually working on, he can look at it on the stream, and if somebody just wants to listen and listen to me ramble, he can do that as well, and not only hear my step-by-step process, but also just me talk about different topics. Okay. What I want to do now is I'll get the tip. Nice. Go to the side view and rotate it down. Not as crazy, maybe like this. That looks pretty good. And I'm also gonna use this little pivot point, which is the pivot point acts basically like how I use this this little what is it, the cursor. The cursor, I use it like as an anchor, and the pivot point is basically the anchor of this object. So what I want to do is move this pivot to this cursor, And how you do that is go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to 3D Cursor. Now I have it right at the bottom of the leaf, which is what I wanted. So now if I just put it to median point, I can rotate it still from this point down here, and I don't have to use the cursor. Now I think that's pretty good for this leaf. I'm gonna do some more variations. Okay, it's called 3, let's call that 1. Nope, let's unhide all of this, hide this. I want to call this 4 actually. Call this 3. Call this 2, and this is 1. Does that work? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nice. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the shader and the texture from these because I don't need it anymore. And oh, wait, what? I think I duplicated the shader. Well, doesn't matter. Okay, let's do some more variations. We have our first one. Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted. The next one I'm gonna do is do the opposite, which means I'm gonna go in here. I'm also gonna pull these vertices apart because they create this this weird line in there. I don't want to have that. I want to have this crease stop right there. So what I'm gonna do is go in here, push that to the side, and now it's still there, but it's not as bad anymore. So what I'm gonna do now is create another variant, which means I need the pivot point right here. Again, you can do that by selecting where the pivot point should be, then go to Shift S, which moves the cursor to different spots. You can do world origin, which is where the axes meet, the y-axis, the x-axis, and the z-axis. And you can also do cursor to selected, which moves the cursor to the selection, to the median of all these points. And now you can say, go out of edit mode, object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. And now you've moved the pivot point from right there to here, which is helpful for the future. What I want to do is use the pivot point, I mean the cursor mainly, as my pivot point or my anchor for my transformations. Transformations are basically just rotating, moving, twisting, and scaling and all that. And what I'm gonna do is go in here and make another variant of this, maybe make it like this, and also go to top view and just change the rotation a little bit. I just want to have some leaves that look different and will make the image just look a little bit more interesting than just using the same leaf over and over and over again. It just gives more variation, which is what I want. Now let's do another variation. I'm gonna just make this real quick. Of course, push these vertices to the side again, and then go in here, Shift S to select it. Nice. Select these points. And what I want to do is another variation. Go into, nope. Wait, I had a new trick I learned, but I can't remember how to do it. Oh, I found it. Nice. If you hold Alt and the middle mouse button and move the camera, which you can do by moving the middle mouse button or pressing the middle mouse button. You can also fixate your camera on the axis. This is looking from the x-axis, this is looking from the y-axis, and this is looking from the z-axis straight at the object. So it removes all the perspective. If you exit this view, you can see that it has a little bit of perspective. If you go up here, it looks like you're looking from up top, but if you actually press the button for it, you see, or if you move out of it, you can see it better. As you can see, it's not just flat, it adds the perspective onto it. If you want to do stuff like moving these points right down the z-axis, for example, it can be a little bit hard if you do it just from this free camera view, because the camera or the viewport can have different degrees in every axis, basically. What I mean is, if I would move these points down right now without pressing anything, then just moving it, they get moved not only down but also to right there, because I don't just look at it from this position, but I look from it from an up angle, or I look down at it, so it moves it. If I'm gonna show it right now, I'm gonna move it down, and as you can see, it moved forward as well, which is what I don't want. What I want is, I want to look from the front without any perspective, and then I'm gonna rotate it just a little bit to give it a bit more, make it a bit more interesting. That looks pretty nice. Maybe even give it a bit more tilt to maybe up. That looks pretty good. Maybe even go into the middle and move that down. I'm going to change the proportional editing to smooth, otherwise we would have had a little crease right where we moved it down. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now it has this little twist in there, and it's also tilted or rotated a little bit. Let me just drink something real quick. Okay, one more leaf, and then that should do it for this shape. I'm probably gonna do like 2 or 3 shapes, which is a bit tedious, but well, if you want to have some assets to work with, you gotta do it. Remove proportional editing. Okay, now what else can we do? We can do something like this. So we can go in here, select these faces, and we go to side view, switch to the other side. We can't really see the leaf from here, so we can rotate to the other side and move it down. Proportional editing enabled. I will actually use, let's use sphere. Let's see how that looks. No, that's not what I wanted. Let's just use smooth. That's the easiest one. Yeah, that looks pretty good. To go back to my interest a little bit more, I actually don't. So 3D overall is really interesting to me, but the main focus for me is on character. The main focus for me is on character creation. What I mean with that is I rather use 3D sculpting to create characters and organic shapes or objects and all that, which I'm gonna show you just so you know what I mean. If we go into in here, you can see this is what I usually do. Characters, of course, I'm still working on it. This is not the best I could do. This is from June, or yeah, I think that's June. The one I want to show you, these are some more. Usually for this one I had a concept art or an artwork I tried to replicate in 3D. And that's one of my big inspirations for 3D projects, just seeing some 2D artworks and recreating those in 3D. I think that's really fun and really challenging at some points, because you can't really replicate it one by one or one to one, because sometimes in 2D you don't have to really pay that much attention to where the light is hitting. You just decide that it goes there, and of course, to make it look realistic, you still have to abide by the rules of physics when it comes to light. But you can decide for yourself how much the light is cast onto the character. One sculpt I like is actually from January last year. That was my model inspiration. I just wanted to do a character model, and what the end result is this one. I think that still looks pretty good. I really like it, and I think I'm gonna use this in my what do you call it? In these stream assets I'm working on right now, these transitions and all that. I think I'm gonna use this one somewhere in there. Okay, let's get back to here. Yeah, so 3D characters or game design overall is really interesting to me. And right now I'm working on improving my skills, and nope, not that. Why is it moving on the... oh, okay. Yeah, just improving my skills, because in the future I want to work as a 3D artist mainly. I don't know where exactly right now, maybe VFX, maybe games. I haven't really, I'm still working on my skills. I haven't like applied somewhere or something. But maybe when I feel comfortable and I want to change my job I work right now, I'll do that. Let's see, we have these 4 variations now, which is pretty good for now. I'm gonna include another leaf. Put these ones to the side. I'll make these ones a little bit quicker, just so we don't waste time here. Go back here to my project, static screen. So what would fit for a calming scene? We have this long leaf. I think round edges are the best, or leaves with round edges are the best ones for calm imagery. So I'm probably gonna use yeah, I think I'm gonna use this one as well, and then I'm gonna do something else. I'm not gonna do another oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I'm not gonna make 2 more leaves. I'm gonna do something else, which I'm gonna show you when we get there. Assets, textures, is it? Yep. And we go into leaves, this one right there. There we have it. Of course, no alpha. I'm getting scammed right now. I requested alphas, but there is no alpha. Put that back to the world origin. Put the cursor to world origin, rotate it by 90 degrees. Nice, so we have everything aligned. And then cut that as well. We can go into top view, use our knife. The knife is just like the, it just adds more, let me do it a little bit rougher. We don't need that many edges. Because we can, I'll show you why we don't need that many edges. I'll look that this side has these same amount of vertices as the other side. Looks pretty good. Remove the faces. So it looks pretty choppy right now. What we're gonna do is just like how I did with these ones, we're gonna include a subdivision surface. What the subdivision surface does is basically it adds more geometry, as I said before, and it also, if you put it on Catmull Clark, it smooths out the vertices. What I mean with that is, first we had these rough edges, but now if we have this subdivision surface, if we remove that, we have this choppy image or texture. If you do that, it smooths it out. If we increase the level of subdivision, which gives it more geometry, it smooths it out even more. So what that is used for is first getting these round shapes, and also we could put it too simple, but we want actually these rounded edges, so that's why I'm gonna put it on Catmull Clark. I'll reduce the level to, let's say, I think 2 is definitely enough, and then we're gonna, of course, we're gonna quad it up. We're gonna make quads out of these, out of the single face. With the knife tool, put that in, nope. Put that in there, nope. Sometimes it's a bit temperamental, nice. Put that in there. And then what we have to do here is something like this, so we have a quad right there. And to get a quad out of this, right now we have 5 vertices. We use this and combine it, or yeah, put a little cut right there. Now we have quads everywhere, 4, 4, 4 and all that. All faces have 4 vertices. Now let's make some variations. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually remove the shader. I don't need it anymore, and I'm gonna make it a little bit longer. I think that's enough. What I'm gonna do now is make duplications, because I want to keep the base. I'm gonna actually rename it first, put it to geometry just to keep everything sorted. Leave 2 .001. Nope, that's the base. I misspelled that. Nice. Okay, now I'm gonna duplicate it. And as you can see, if you duplicate it, it puts these 001 behind the original name right away, which is really handy. So we just have to move that over here, and we have 4 copies. That should be enough. Now we can remove the texture from here as well, and then we can work on these. This one is the base. I'm not gonna work on this, but I'm gonna work. You know what? I'm gonna delete these, and I'm gonna increase. Or yeah. Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna make these a little bit differently varied from the ones that we did before. gonna add some more cuts right there and right there. As you can see, there's this cross which I want to avoid. So what I'm gonna do is actually remove these edges and add another. So we have these two. Delete this edge and combine the edge again, and now we have two vertices right there, which is what I wanted, because we can delete these again, because I want to have the everything, all of them have this structure. This just makes the overall structure better, and now if I put these cuts in here again, we don't have this little cross over there. So that's just a little general tip. What I wanted to do is I wanted to put these cuts right there and then push them up again, but with this little cross we would have had some intersections, which is not what I wanted. So if you're ever working on something where you have to give some more edges or add some more edges, make sure you're not intersecting somewhere where you don't want to have that intersected. You basically want to make sure that the line actually goes to where you want it to go. So what I want to do is keep this as it is, make that the base, duplicate that by 4. Nice. And then work on these variations. What I'm gonna do is give it some more cuts right there, move these down a bit. Okay, so that it actually looks different in its shape now. And I'm gonna make the outer edge, pull that down, put it to median, just a little bit. That looks pretty good. Or no, we need some more. That looks pretty good. So what I want to do now is also rotate it just a little bit to make it more interesting. Put the cursor right there to work as an anchor. And then rotate it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. For this one, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna actually move this up like that. That looks different from this one already, but what I want to do is move these points up. Okay, also just make it a bit more random, push these down. Okay, next one. These ones I'm gonna change the shape a little bit, the silhouette. That looks weird. Let's put it right there. Maybe even put it a little bit down here. Okay. Now make the bottom. Oh no, we can do it round. We can push the middle. Let me add some more edges. It's not round anymore, but that's not that important. I want to push this down. So what I'm gonna do is push this down so we have this little crease. That's exactly what I wanted. Or maybe not. Should I do that? Because I want to keep it fairly simplistic. So what I'm gonna do is move these just out a little bit to make the crease less crazy. Okay, move that one even further down. Move that one up a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Make it a bit more random. Push these ones up. Maybe rotate it a little bit. Put the cursor right there. Select, let's pick these ones. Top view. That looks pretty good. Also, choose these ones, select these ones, go to the other side and rotate them down. Yep, that looks pretty good. Pretty steep, but I think that just gives it more variation, which is what we're looking for. And what's the next step? The next step is gonna be one more, and then we're gonna get onto the next part. So what I'm gonna do for this one, I'm just gonna keep it fairly simple, I think. What happens if I just push these ones up? Push these ones down. That looks pretty interesting. And then, nope. I want to keep that there. Maybe make it really sharp, like this. That looks pretty good. Okay. So we're gonna shade them smooth, so we don't see these edges anymore. Just for visual purposes. And then we have our leaf variations, so we can move those over as well. So we have our collection right there. And we can also give them shaders, just so we can color them in the viewport, which is just handy to have, so we can not only group them by their position, but also by their color. So if you want to just separate two different groups of objects, so I have these two leaves and these two leaves, they both have different shapes, but are I want to differentiate them from each other. What I'm going to do is select these ones. This one has the shader to give, these ones are going to have the same shader. And what I'm gonna do is call the shader leaf2, because that's what I call the objects. And then we don't need to do anything in here. What we can do is go down here into the shader's material properties, the shader settings. And what you can see down here is a viewport display setting. What you can do in here is go to color and just put that to a different color. Just maybe use something like that. Metallic, we don't need that. Roughness can stay the same. I'm gonna do the same right here. Leaf 2, no, leaf 1. We can link or apply the same shader to these leaves by selecting them, highlight this one, and pressing Control L and link the materials. And now all of them have the same shader or material, whatever you want to call it. We're gonna change the color in here as well, put it to green, why not? Nice, so now we have our little collection of leaves. Okay, I think it's time to start our scene. Or I think I need some more assets. What I want to keep or what I want to adapt in the scene are these round shapes everywhere. You not only have the leaves which are round with some rounded edges, but you also have these spheres in there, which are made up of even smaller spheres. So that's what I want to adapt a little bit. I don't want to replicate this image or these images. I just want to have these as a reference and adapt a similar look. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create one sphere, and then I think I'm gonna call it for today. So what I'm gonna do now is put this cursor back to the world origin, go to mesh and create a sphere. We can reduce the segments a little bit, we don't need that many, maybe 16. Reduce that to 8, that should be pretty good. Now what we want to do is make a little circle out of these. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna include an array modifier. What the array modifier does is it makes an array of the object you apply the modifier to. So right now we have 2 of the same object. If we increase that, we can get 3, 4, and up to whatever, how much you want. We can also decide on which axis they will be, where they'll be placed on. So if we reduce that, it's going to go back to the original position. If we increase the y, it's going to be placed on the y-axis, and then of course if you put it on z, it's going to be placed on the z-axis. So if you combine those, you can also combine them, and they're going to just be diagonal. What I want to do is use the where is it? Object offset. This one uses an object as the offset anchor. What I mean by that is I'm going to use a plane axis, move that over there. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go in here and move that over there. Go to Y1. Oh, that's a little bit not as much as I wanted. Put that over there. That should be good. And then make that a little smaller, and then we can use the object empty as an array. But what we want to do is apply the scale, just so it doesn't do what you just saw. If we rotate this object, oh wait, it's still there. Okay, I think I have to apply the scale right there as well. Is it still there? Nope. Okay, now it should work. Yep, if you rotate it now, you can see it rotates around the object. So what I want to do is put it to, oh, it goes both directions. Okay. Wait, I pressed the wrong object. I want to rotate it here 360 degrees. It's not what I wanted. I want to have it at let's see, let's just increase and get closer and closer to what I wanted. So what I'm gonna do is increase the count of balls right here, and I want to have them lined up. I need less. So let's see, we could do it just mathematically, but I don't want to do that right now. Maybe if you add one more, we should be good. No, we're not. Now we're good. Nice. Okay, now we have a little line of balls. We can maybe make them a little bit smaller, so they're not colliding with one another. We're gonna rotate it just a little bit to. I think that looks. I wanna have a little space between them. That looks pretty. I wanna have some more. It's always good to have some space. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I like these rings. Of course, I'm not gonna just replicate those, but what I wanna do is let's see, what are some organic shapes? I'll probably get some more reference in here, just of some more natural leaves and organic shapes, to have some real plants in here, to have some more reference, as I said. But I think now is a good time to call it for now. We're going for almost 2.5 hours, which is pretty good. I'm gonna save that, and then for everyone who sees or hears this, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good day. I wish you all the best, and I'll see